Hello friends, Ghevar. Yes, I still can't believe that I succeeded in making Ghevar, and that too with gluten-free flour. Till the time I took out the first Ghevar to drain excess oil, I was not sure about this end result. Now the ingredient list I have already shown, and this lemon juice is optional. If you want to add, you may, otherwise you may skip it. Now this Ghevar has turned out very well, and after tasting it I can say that it's very super tasty. So please do try out this recipe. I have replaced 2 tablespoons from 200 grams of gluten-free flour with 2 tablespoons of besan, and mix both the flours very well. And then since this Ghevar is something which has to have proper aeration in the dough, so we will sieve both the flours mixed together. We will sieve it properly at least 2-3 times so that there are no lumps in it. Once we are sure that there are no lumps, we'll keep that aside. And the process, we will do it in a mixer. We could have, if somebody has a stand mixer, you can crush the ice and do it in that also. But I found that this would be done on high speed and quickly, so I did it in this only. In the mixer, I have added 4 tablespoons of ghee and 4 to 5 cubes of ice, crushed it and pulse it in between for a short, keep it on pulse. But since no mixing or nothing was happening, I started adding milk. Now milk, water, everything has to be as cold as possible. After the ghee and milk has mixed a little bit, start adding the flour, gluten-free flour, spoon by spoon. And along with this flour, you can either add water or milk at each stage. The idea is that no lumps should be formed. If lumps are being formed, then either with addition of water or with addition of cold milk, and then pulsing it again and again. You have to do it in short bursts. The mixie should not get hot. This dough has to be at very cold temperature all throughout till the end of the process. So this I have edited the this was quite long because this step is very important, that you have to pulse it again and open it, see what stage it is, whether there are lumps, and add water or milk as required after each mixing. If the milk gets over with after addition of everything, you have to thin out. Anyway, this mixture, the final dough has to be very thin, like as if it's for a neer dosha, so it has to be very runny. So you may add, this is how the final dough has to look like. It is giving those bubbles on the back of the spoon, so it has aerated that well. Now addition of lemon juice. After I added lemon juice, I noticed that there was separation in the dough. So if necessary, only then you add it, because I had to put it once again in the mixture and remove all the thread-like or the separation which had happened due to addition of lemon juice. So you may or may skip addition of lemon juice. And now after the final mix, it has turned out like this, and we have to keep it in a water bath on either on cool pack or on ice cold water. We have to keep it throughout so that it does not get heated up. Now this Ghevar is all about aerated dough being put in very hot oil, leading to more aeration or splitting of the dough. So that is what is happening here. keep oil. I have used oil, you may use ghee also. And from a distance, it has to be with the in a thin line, we have to drop it from a distance. Keep at least 5 to 6 centimeters distance, and with a ladle just pour it, keeping yourself safe all the time, because this splatters. The oil or the ghee which is at very high temperature, it splatters a lot, and then you have to, the edges you have to release it with a knife, and from the middle, with the help of this, try. Oh yes, this was the moment I was so glad that this is how Ghevar, because this is the first time I'm making Ghevar or even trying it out. So this, on seeing this, I was very happy that okay, I have finally succeeded in making something in the first go. So this is how you have to keep a distance and then drop it in a very slim thread like fashion into the center. And once it bubbles up, this is the dangerous part, it may spill over also. You have to, so my vessel is very small, you have to, it is better that you keep a very big vessel and fill up the oil or ghee only to 1/4 of it. This was almost half, so keep it only 1/4, fill ghee or oil only to 1/4 of the vessel. And then in the middle, you always keep a eye on the middle portion. Once the bubbles settle down, you pour it again in a thin stream again from a distance, and then let that cook. Once it subsides, then again add another fresh layer. So it is just a layer cake which is made because of the dough, very liquid dough, splitting up because of very hot oil. And once it is done, separate the sides of the Ghevar from the vessel just with a knife, and then push down. The Ghevar has to be cooked on the upper side also, so just push it down with a stick or a knife or a spoon or a long spoon, or as I am using, this is the oven's skewer, so you can use them also. Just push it down, and this is how. It's a very easy process, just that it's very hot oil, and you have to be sure about the consistency of the dough. That has to be very liquidy, as I have shown, and very aerated. And the oil has to be very hot, and the dough has to be dropped from a distance about 10 centimeters above the oil. Now these two, I have made this, and I plan to take this to my son who's in hostel right now. So this is for if you want to keep it for a 3-4 days, for a longer period of time. You don't have to add chashni. You may add it, or you may avoid and add icing sugar instead. But that too, as soon as you take it out, it has to be added. Icing sugar, if you are adding, it has to be added when it is very hot. The Ghevar is very hot. Only then it would get into the Ghevar. And this is how many people would be successful in making thick Ghevar. But this is how it has turned out. You can see how aerated it is and how well it has turned out. Now as you go, you may feel that the jali, the structure is getting affected, so you may add a little bit of water to thin it out again. And now I am making chashni for with 1 cup of sugar and half cup water. And just when you feel that it is going to achieve this, I am adding green cardamom powder. You may add saffron strands, food color, anything into this if you want to color your slightly color your Ghevar. And this is going to achieve the one strict one string consistency. So yes, this is nearing that. So we'll switch off and transfer it to another container. We may add lemon juice into this so that there is no crystallization. And after that, once we have made the ghevar, while it is still hot, we may add warm chashni to it and then serve it or decorate it with slivers of almonds and pista. And now this I have done a quick found out a shortcut. I have made something more like a custard, which has turned out. Now it did on if you make a thick custard like consistency, that would also give a feel. You can make rabdi with the ingredients I have shown in the list, or you may add, because of time, so I just made a thickish custard like, poured it all over the ghevar, and this has turned out superb and very well. So if I can make it, you can definitely make it too. So please do try out this recipe and do share your comments. And if you like my video, please do share and subscribe to Gluten Free India and share recipes with your friends. Thank you. Yes, this one is with the actual rabdi. I diluted some koya recipe I have already shared on my channel, along with warm milk, and cooked it on low flame, and that is how I achieved rabdi. So this one is with rabdi, which I made later on.